Welcome everyone, I'm Amy. I'm an NPC bikini competitor and I'm also a nutritional therapy practitioner. And this is my reverse vlog, reversing away. I think we're, what, 7-8 weeks? Can't even remember, maybe even 9. I mean, we're way past the show. We're well into the reverse at this point and also well into 2026. So if you guys missed my check-in from last week, it is linked in the little thing right there. And you should know that I had an interesting check-in. I'd had a pretty stressful week and then ended up getting injured at the end of my week. Not the end of the week, it was like the middle of the week, but that's when I check-in is on Thursdays. I had an injury at the gym on Wednesday and I am still recovering, but let's talk about what my coach sent me for feedback. So he said, "Hope your ribs are feeling okay. Sorry to hear about that. You will bounce back very quickly. It's just annoying right now." That is putting it mildly. "I want you to take the rest of the week off the gym. If you do go in, 20 to 30 minute workout max. Next week, we're going to move to 4 days a week training. We will work our way back up to more days, but we really need to pull back a bit on training now, specifically with work stress. You will stay on the same plan and just rotate over 4 days a week, staying in the same order of how the plan is written, if that makes sense." He said, "Diet remains the same. Let me know if you need anything or have any questions." So that was the feedback. I did respond. I said, "Thank you so much. I just got out of surgery. Our scrub tech called in sick today, so I was scrubbed in and it was just me and the surgeon, but we got it done. Workouts 4 on, 1 off, 4 on, 1 off." I was asking if that's how we wanted me to rotate and just keep going through the rotation. And I pulled a side by side of my first check-in from 2025 versus my first check-in of 2026. Crazy difference. Last off season was a disaster. I can't wait to see what a year with a good coach can do. And I will put that picture here. And remember, in this picture, that was the morning after I got injured at the gym. So it was not my best front pose ever. But even with that, I mean, the difference is pretty crazy in what a difference a year makes. And it did make me feel better putting those side by side, because with that big weight spike this week, I was getting in my head a little bit about it. And, I'm still not loving that my weight has kind of jumped quite a bit, but that's normal. Like, this is the off season. And my body does tend to do that, like it'll kind of stay around the same. And it does the same thing when I'm losing weight too. And then have like a little bit of a whoosh, where I might go down 2 or 3 pounds and then kind of stay there. And I think it's just the same way kind of coming back up. So it's kind of gone up 2 or 3 pounds and it's probably just going to now stay here and then probably bounce around a little bit and then maybe go up again. So that is where we are at. He said, and he got back to me right away. He said, "Sorry to hear about, I hope the work stress eases up soon." He said, "Nope, 4 days a week and I don't want them consecutive days. 3 days in a row max. Even that is not needed when you're only going to be training 4 days a week." So, and he said that he was happy to be a part of this, meaning my bodybuilding journey with me. So, okay. So that was it. So that was the feedback. So no changes to the diet this week, which I clearly don't need, especially with reduced training and being in some pretty significant pain. Don't really need any changes right there. I am going to take a couple of days off the gym because I'm still in a pretty intense amount of pain. Rib injuries are a unique thing, and I feel fortunate, I guess, that I have had a broken rib before, so I know that this is normal. I kind of know what to expect. The things that you don't even think about doing hurt like crazy, like trying to make my bed or even pull up tight leggings. Like I put on a pair of leggings that was tight and even just trying to pull those up was excruciatingly painful. Bending over to do anything, because like I said, it does feel like someone has my entire lower ribs in a vise. And inside that vise, they're also stabbing daggers into me at the same time. So it's been a pretty uncomfortable few days. Trying to just be patient with it and know, I can't rush it. So I could, do things to make it worse, and that's what I don't want to do. So I'm trying to be smart and just take it easy and ice a lot. The ice does seem to help. Heat kind of helps too. And just do what I can do. So that is the start of this week. A little bit pulled back on training. So same workouts, just, I'll be off a day, so I'll do 2 days on, 1 day off. 2 days, 1 day, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works. We'll see how I'm feeling. I think getting back to some push sessions will probably be okay, and maybe some legs initially. Obviously nothing that is chest supported, because I cannot have pressure on my chest. I have found I can get comfortable on either side sleeping, but it's a very specific position. And if I deviate from it at all or move at all, I'm immediately awoken with searing pain. So sleep has not gotten any better. And as I was sitting here, my Oura Ring just sent me a notification that my resting heart rate, what did it say? Monthly average lowest heart rate rose from 56 to 60 beats per minute. Yeah, over the last month. So, oh, there have been a lot of things going on that have caused me definitely some physiological and emotional stress and all that kind of stuff, and now physical pain. So here we are. I always say, you never know what someone is dealing with. So you got to just expect that everyone is showing up the best they can in that moment. And that is what I am trying to do. So we will see what the week brings. I'm not sure what else is going to be in this video. It probably will not be training footage because my training is going to be slightly affected by this rib thing for probably a few weeks at least. They are so swollen. Oh my gosh. Like my whole abdomen is just distended and swollen and very uncomfortable. So that is where I'm starting this week from. But like I said, don't know what's coming. Try and get something interesting in this one. If you guys do have any thoughts, comments, questions, commiserations about rib injuries, leave those in the comment section below. And I will see you all here in whatever comes next. And we're back. It is the end of the week. It has been an interesting week, but it's time to talk about my check-in. I apologize that there was nothing in between the intro and the outro this week. With the rib injury and just kind of life and work chaos, there was just nothing else that I was able to get in. So that is how this week went. But let's talk about my check-in from the week. So first starts out with pictures, here. Still getting into my front pose is really painful with the ribs, and I'm gonna chat about how that's been going this week. Tommy did check in on me. I should bring that up first. So Tommy did check in on me a couple of days after the rib injury. Let's get back to that. Yeah, so he said, how you feeling? And I said, everything hurts and I'm dying. LOL. Honestly, I said ribs are still a 7 out of 10 pain. Sleeping is pretty brutal, and I sneezed this morning and I think I lost most of my soul. Other than that, I'm good. And yeah, that's how it was. I sneezed, and yeah, it was, I knew it was coming, and like I tried to do it in the best way possible, but yeah, that's how it felt. Felt like I lost my soul. And he said, fuck. And I said, basically feels like someone is stabbing me through the rib cage and the diaphragm on both sides at all times and twisting the blade occasionally. I know it will get better, but 3 days of near constant pain is taking its toll. By that point it was like 3 days later. He said, yeah, I can't even imagine what seems to help. I said, heat and not moving or breathing. He said, perfect, just don't breathe. And I said, exactly. And I said, I really appreciate you checking in on me. And he said, keep me posted. And I said, I will. So that was what I sent. That was him and I just kind of chatting early in the week after the initial injury. Yeah, oh gosh. A few days of being in just constant pain. So I did it on a Wednesday. So by Monday, when I was back at work, it was finally to the point I was talking to my assistant, like, where I was almost kind of like used to the pain and like had just, gotten, like, I hate to say comfortable with the pain, but kind of just, yeah, like I was like, I'm in it, like this is the pain I have. So it was an interesting feeling. So that's how it went early in the week. So then after that, my check-in, I did send the pictures, today's date, how many weeks until goal or competition. It is still TBD. My current fasted weight and the weight from the same day as last week, I was up not quite a pound, so about 0.8 of a pound this week. Average blood pressure was also up slightly, about 110/75. My average fasted glucose was 74. Adherence to diet, 100% yes. Adherence to cardio and training, I put 100% yes, but then I did caveat that when he responded, or when I sent him a message on WhatsApp to say I put that I was 100%, but I wasn't because I didn't do any ab work this week. I did do light workouts. Some things really hurt my ribs, other things didn't. I did only have to modify or take out 2 exercises. The Serrano press, which you guys have seen before, where you're on laying flat, like laying with your chest on an incline bench. Yeah, no. No, that was a no-go. And what else? There was something else that really hurt my ribs that I did a couple sets of, and I was just like, no, absolutely not. So a couple of things that I did take out, and abs. Oh my gosh, I didn't even attempt abs. I can't even brace my abs, let alone try and do abs. No changes to supplements. My current training, he put me down to a 4-day push-pull legs. I'm not had a specific deload week, but this has kind of felt like a lighter week, was this week. Last blood work was the beginning of August of 2025. Not done a refeed, and I have not done a high day yet at all, because I was supposed to do it on my leg days, and well, since then things have just been weird. So no high day since he gave me one, which sucks. My sleep this week, I gave myself a 1. I have not been sleeping. When you have a rib injury on both sides of your rib cage and everything hurts, it hurts just to breathe. Anytime I fall asleep because I'm exhausted, but then as soon as I need to move at all, I wake up, it hurts. Yeah. Gym performance I put as a 3 just because I'm pulling it way back to accommodate my injury. Overall fatigue and energy levels, I also gave myself a 3, mostly because I have not slept all week. Current appetite put as a 3. My sleep score on my ring was an 81, which I know you probably would expect it to be worse, but it's also telling me that I have a sleep debt, and my ring is very unhappy with me. My readiness score is extremely low. My average resting heart rate was 59, which is up, still much higher than I would like it to be. I mean, for reference, when I was like deep in prep and having like stimulants and caffeine and all these other things, it was like a 52. So yeah, clearly my body is a little unhappy with where we're at right now. No changes to water intake. My favorite meal choices or food choices are still, I put sourdough and dates, because man, I've been loving the dates. Oh no, it will be past it. As I say, Costco had the organic dates on sale, but it ended. So sorry, they go on sale other times too. But either way, even not on sale, Costco is the best place to buy the organic dates. You can get a 24-ounce package for like $13 for the organic ones, which is a really good deal. My daily step count is prescribed at 10,000, and even with the rib injury, I was definitely still getting that, even though walking, oh my gosh, walking is a rough combination just because of the movement of the body and also the need to breathe. So walking is kind of tough. Still did my cardio, 15 minutes of steady state on the stairs. That actually felt not as bad as walking feels because there's not as much like jarring, I guess, I don't know. So that wasn't bad. Digestion was good, put it as a 4 out of 5. Current mental state, all things considered, lack of sleep and injury, I put it as a 4 out of 5. And then extra info and all questions here. I said, good morning, Tommy. Not my best week ever. Ribs are feeling a little better every day. Sleeping has been the hardest thing because I can't get comfortable and any movement at all wakes me up. I have been able to get back to the gym a couple of times for some easy lifts, keeping up with my steps and cardio. My weight seems to be going up rapidly. Definitely seeing some notable changes in body composition and overall softness. Trying to stay neutral about this. I know some of it is inflammation from the injury and decreased activity and lack of sleep. I just want to make sure that the train is not running away from us as far as body fat goes. I said, I think that's all, but I was up all night, so with someone having post-op issues, and I'm probably forgetting something. So yeah, I had not slept. I maybe got 3 hours of sleep the night before I sent this, but I still got my check-in done. Still got my steps in that morning. So there was something I was going to say about that. The weight going up. It's an interesting thing, and maybe because I've been spending so much more time in bed awake trying to get comfortable. When you put on weight after a show, it's just like when you lose weight. You know, it kind of happens slowly, but you notice it rapidly. Like, let's maybe put it that way. So like, you know, you see the weight will go up, but these changes in kind of how your body feels and you feel in your body and in the world around you are all things that change. So just like little things, like, you know, I said like the softness, like I can't really see any definition in my quads anymore. And same thing with like my calves, like that definition starts to fade as the body fat kind of starts to blur it a little bit, and just water too. But one of the biggest things I noticed, and again, this goes back to being in bed awake all the time, is that my thighs touch at night. You know, when I'm super lean, like when I lay on my side, if I have my legs stacked directly on top of each other, like my thighs don't touch, which is a really weird feeling. But then you get so used to it because you know, I'll stay like that for multiple weeks. So when they touch again, it's always like, oh gosh, like it feels weird. But it's just different. Like it's kind of like when you first notice that they don't touch anymore, and you know, it just, all these things, you know, kind of happen in stages, but they seem sometimes like they're coming on really fast. Yeah. So, you know, I think it's a lot. You know, when you're injured, like I said, I feel like I can't pull my stomach in. So I feel like my stomach's been looking really distended and the weight going up and just being injured and in pain and not sleeping. It's all these things just kind of creating this perfect storm of like, wow, I feel terrible. But everything's going to be fine. And I'm really thankful that the ribs are not broken. They're just really badly bruised. And as the week has gone on, they do, like I told them, they feel a little bit better every day. So it's, you know, now I can kind of like, yesterday I was able to get in and out of the car without having to like really think about how I was going to do that, and just then not getting into the car and being like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain. So things are getting better, which is good. So I hope you're all healthy. That's all I've got for this one. We'll talk about what my coach has for feedback in the intro for the next video, and I'll get something interesting will be in next week's video. Like I said, I just didn't have it in me this week to get any other content. I've been just trying to survive this week. So I do appreciate you all so much for being here. If you made it to the end of this video, I would love it if you would share this video with somebody, subscribe to my channel, leave it a like. That all really helps me out so much. Or leave a comment, a question, anything at all below. If you yourself have been through a rib injury, you know how challenging it can be. Leave your stories below so we can all commiserate together. But wherever you are, please, please, please spread some positivity and light to yourself and everyone around you. You are worthy, you deserve it, and I appreciate you all so, so much for being here. And I will see you all here next time.